Welcome back to another episode of Let's Have a Sip. I'm your host, Sean Drinks. How you doing?
I'm great, Sean. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. Last time I saw you was at, I'm pretty sure, the Grid House, the gym in Cleveland,
Probably.
Tennessee. For everyone that doesn't know that. So, yeah, you're getting swole on me whenever you were in there. I was like, okay, all right, I see you.
Yeah, sometimes you just get bored with one sport, and so you kind of have to spice it up. So I was training for a show this last year, but then I broke my foot in my last touring season of dance, and so I had to stop both dance and bodybuilding. So that kind of sucked, but we're all good now, rebounding, healing, all the things.
Gotcha. I didn't know you were training for a show. That's super awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm probably
So
still going to do it. So.
Okay, so was Nate training you, or was it someone else?
Yeah, Nate's my trainer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's the bomb. You're in good hands.
He's amazing. Nate's incredible.
Oh yeah. So, before we actually started recording, you said that you were traveling in Europe by yourself, backpacking for a whole month. What was that all
That's
about?
right. Oh, every once in a while you need a creative break. And so I just decided I was going to go to 5 countries. And so I started in Czech Republic. I started in Prague. And the reason I went was because my lifelong hero of a composer, Thomas Ferguson, who writes for Two Steps from Hell with Nick Phoenix, he was having a first ever massive tour in Europe. And I saw he was going to be in Prague, and I was like, I can't miss this. I've followed him for about 15 years. All of my shows have his music in it. And it's literally like a dream of mine. So I went and I saw his show, and it blew my mind. It was everything I'd ever hoped it would be. And then since I was over in Europe, I decided to take a stop in Poland because I'm Polish, or a part Polish, and I wanted to see Warsaw, and that was an incredible experience. From Poland, I went to London. I went to Ireland. And then after Ireland, my dream, literally since I was 15 years old, I've always wanted to go to Iceland. And so I went to Reykjavik, Iceland for 8 days and just got to experience the beaches and the people. It honestly was a trip of a lifetime. I don't think I'll ever be the same.
Okay, yeah, no, that's super cool. I'm not gonna lie, pretty jealous. So that's super cool. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy because most people were like, "Why are you here by yourself?" And I was like, I just needed some adventure. So literally just grabbed one backpack, and that's all you need. And actually getting around in Europe, it was really safe over there. Sometimes I think I even felt safer in Europe than I do here in America. So it was really incredible. I highly recommend it if you need some adventure in your life.
yeah, no doubt. So you must have a big team at your dance studio.
Yes, I
Uh,
do.
so yeah, because you're gone for a month. And correct
Mhm.
me if I'm wrong, but you work with your husband, correct?
Yes, he is the director of operations at Unity, and I'm the executive director.
Okay. How is that working with your significant other?
Well,
Is it hard to kind of separate, like, okay, you're my husband, you're my wife, versus like, hey, this is a business, we got to do what we got to do.
you know, he and I built Unity together.
Okay.
So I started it 12 years ago as a club at Lee. And I had no idea it was going to turn into this. I had no idea it was going to be. We have 2 studios, 2 locations. We serve 500 students on a weekly basis. And I have a staff of about 40 employees that either teach or admin or all that. And so Austin and I built it from the ground up. So in the beginning, yeah, when we got married, it was like all of our life and all of our work intertwined. So that was difficult. But when you're best friends with someone, it's just like doing life together. So honestly, without him, Unity would not be what it is. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome that you can just leave for a month and have faith in like your staff and your husband to, take care of all that stuff. That I'm sure
Yeah.
that was a big weight off your shoulders being thousands of miles away. So
It was I think it was something like 4,000 miles away, but honestly, it was the first time I've ever done anything like this, and so it was difficult leaving. I've never left, but summer's the best time to leave if you're going to do it. Just like any school, it's way chill at the studio during the summertime, so it wasn't even it wasn't a bad time to leave. I don't think I could ever get away with that in the spring or fall, but it was a perfect time for sure.
okay, cool. Yeah. So whenever I was looking at your website, I noticed that you will tour to like a lot of different places in like the Southeast Tennessee area, maybe like
Mhm.
Georgia. And I noticed that y'all went overseas as well. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Belgium and
Yeah,
Colombia, correct?
that's right. Belgium and then Colombia, South America. So
So, like, what makes you choose? Like, hey, okay, we got this dance studio. Let's go to Belgium and Colombia. Like, what makes you think about going there?
yeah, for sure. And honestly, we go where the connections are. So we had connections in Colombia, and so we did it for 2 years. We went 2017 and did, I think it was like a 10-day tour, and then we went again in 2018, and we did I think it was a 20 no, it was an 18-day tour, 18 shows. It was like 8,000 people, 8 cities. Incredible turnout. We had like a team of, I think, 14 that went with us, and we put on the Veil, which is our main like signature show.
Hmm.
And it was great because like my mom's Cuban, so I like had the Spanish background, and plus Latin America, like there's just no place like it. South America is one of the most beautiful places, so highly recommend that as well. But Belgium was actually because we had a connection with another nonprofit. So Unity is also a nonprofit organization. So the ministry side of things and really the outreach side of things that we do, it connects us with a lot of other organizations that are helping the poor and needy and helping just like give back to the world. So we're in connection with a lot of those people, and they had a chateau in Brussels, Belgium, and they invited us to come stay. And then we put on shows there. Then we went to downtown Brussels. We actually performed in an underground church in Belgium.
Wow.
So it's crazy. You like walk there, and like the buildings are like graffitied, and it looks like you're in this like really bad part of town. You open the door and there's pillars of marble. Like it's the most stunning thing you've ever seen. And it's just because it's all underground, because Christians are definitely persecuted in those areas. Very ISIS dominated, especially at that time. It was kind of scary. And they told us that we had to keep our voices down, don't try to attract too much attention, which is really hard to do with dancers. Oh my gosh. But yeah, and plus we're all wearing the same clothing. I'm like, we are not undercover at all. We've got to fix this. But no, it was a really rewarding experience for sure, and it gave me the bug to travel back, obviously, to Europe. So
Cool. Yeah, I went to South America whenever. So for everyone that doesn't know, we both met at in college at Lee University, which is in Cleveland, Tennessee. And a requirement for you to graduate was to go on a cross cultural trip. So I went with the business department. We went to South America, and I went with Dr. Hasso. Shout out to him. Super cool guy. And we went to like Argentina, Uruguay, some place called Salto that had like natural hot springs, which was super cool. And
oh yeah.
there was I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like he was a foreign exchange student that actually went to Lee, but also I think he lived in either, I want to say it was Uruguay that he lived in, and he was like owned some bar down there and kind of just like showed us around, and we got to enjoy the nightlife while we're out there, so it was very cool. And yeah, I definitely need to go back, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Dr.
funny.
Hasso was amazing.
Yeah, he's the bomb. So, I don't know why this is a thing, but I feel like it's like, okay, if you go overseas, people are like, "Don't drink the tap water, you're gonna get sick." Why is that a thing? Do you know what I'm
Dude,
talking about?
I do, and I think more in like a Latin American. So apparently, I didn't know this, but in Iceland, they told you that if you bought bottled water, it's a tax on the Americans. It's like for people that aren't educated, because the water in Iceland is the cleanest from the tap because it comes right from all of their natural springs. So I don't necessarily think if that's across the world anymore. I know I was drinking the tap water everywhere in Europe and it was fine. So I'm pretty sure it's just South America.
Okay, well, because I guess I did it one night, or maybe I was brushing my teeth and something got into my system. But like, I felt terrible for like like the last 3 days up until we left. I was like, because there was only a select few days where Dr. Hasso was like, "Hey, we're gonna go meet up with so and so, and they're gonna teach you about whatever." And I don't know if he thought I was like messing with him or not, but I was like, "Dr. Hasso, man, I don't feel good." And
Yeah.
he's like, "You don't feel good?" I was like, "I swear, I had the bubble guts. We'll just keep it at that." So, um, but Yeah,
Well, I remember in Belgium, half of my team, so it was after we performed and we were gonna go sightseeing, like, we went to the Netherlands and France, and, they got E. coli. And so, like, half of my team was throwing up. It was awful. Like, honestly, even to this day, they still talk about, like, how they were on their deathbed and straight up that it felt that terrible to them.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you gotta be careful when you're traveling for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, no doubt. And you seem like super cultured, like you've been across the whole universe, and I'm like, I want to do that. So I had because the last time I went overseas was not this past April, but the April before. I went with my now at the time girlfriend, now fiance Courtney. Um, and
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, appreciate it. And we went to Cancun, all inclusive resort. That's not. I mean, we went overseas, but it's totally different. Like,
It's different. Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
and prior to that was whenever I went overseas with Lee University. So I definitely need to do some more overseas traveling. But I always like I don't think anything would happen to me, but like I'm a very big guy, whatever. But in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about that movie Taken with Liam Neeson. I'm like,
I know. And if you, if you keep your eyes out and you pay attention, then you're pretty safe. You
yeah,
just have to like pay attention and not be stupid about it. But Sean, remind me, like we were in like accounting together. Is that right? I know we had a bunch of business classes together, but like, do you remember what we took in college?
dude, I have
D-
no idea.
Can you believe it's been like almost what 10 or 11 years since we were there? Like I feel so old right now. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, they're to a degree. I'm like, it's like back in my day.
Yes, exactly.
No, I am definitely feeling a little bit older, but just because like looking back and thinking like, man, that was so. I graduated in 2014. And that was I'm
What, eight
terrible at math.
years?
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I graduated in 13, so about 9 years. So yeah, it's a long time.
yeah. So, and it's funny because like you got a lot of these other kids that are coming up, and they got like their trends and stuff like that. It makes me think about like the generation above us, or just the older people, not necessarily like Generation Z, but like I guess what is it, baby boomers after generation?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so it's just funny like to think of like them being like, what kind of music are you listening to? And then like I'm thinking about the music that the younger generation's listening to. It's like the mumble rap, and I'm like, what are y'all listening to? And I'm like, oh my God, am
No.
I getting old? But at the same time, I'm like, okay, this music is so trash. So,
You like
but
to consider your music like the classic and like unadulterated. And that's how our parents used to feel about their music. And we were laughing at them, but now it's making a comeback. So,
oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. If I had to pick any like genre or decade, it would definitely be. I can listen to anything. It just depends on my mood. But if I had to pick one, it would be '90s alternative. That's just my jam.
absolutely.
Oh
90s.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
'90s
Hands down.
'90s alternative though.
I'm not sure I kind of know alternative, but yeah. No, I
Like
love the
like like
90s.
like Nirvana.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's my
I'm
jam.
more your Celine Dion fan.
Okay. I
Michael
think you.
Bolton, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I think you and my fiance would get along just fine.
Oh, I'm sure.
So whenever you first came on, I was like, "Hello." Before we started recording, I heard your voice, and I was like, "Wow." So can you sing?
Can I sing? Yes, I do
Yes.
sing.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, "Wow, that's sound okay." So
Was I jamming before I got
no,
on?
no, but it was just like the way you said hello was like, and I was,
Hello. Yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, "Wow, okay, you got some I don't even know what I'm trying to say."
Pipes.
There you go. Pipes. That's what I was looking for. Sometimes I can't use words correctly, everybody, but it
It's
is what
okay.
it
You're
is.
just a podcast host. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. Help me. But yeah, so I know that you said that you have like you said 40 like employees, is that what you said?
Basically, a lot of them are subcontractors. There's probably between like 4 and 6 of us that are actually the full time, and then the rest are teachers, and then like the people that like really support us. So overall, over 2 locations is about like takes about 25 people to run each studio when it comes to classes, admin, office workers, and then you have your executives who make all the bigger decisions, and then of course write the shows, and then keep like the syllabus for Unity good and correct. I mean, because I'm a big believer in technique. So that was one of the reasons I started Unity in the first place, was because I felt like there was a hole in our community for a dance studio that really valued ballet technique, the integrity of a production, not just like a recital, like an actual production like Broadway or something that like really can move your heart and your spirit. And so I was like, well, this is the niche I'm going to fall into because I don't really see it being filled. And then over the last, well, Unity's around 12 years, but the studio's been around, I think, 7 or 8 years now. We've just grown and developed that and developed studio shows so that all like 500 of our students can participate. And then we also have our professional touring company that does the traveling and the more professional shows. So we have basically like 2 tiers of levels of shows so that everyone can participate. And then if you want to go more professional or semi-pro, you have somewhere to work towards. And then, of course, if you want to go to American Ballet Theater, or you want to go somewhere else around the country, then you have the correct training, the technique, the experience you need to be able to go and audition for one of those companies.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't really know how in depth your business was. I didn't really. I just thought y'all had one location, which was like right by Keith Street, right? By
Yeah, 20th
okay, so
Street. Yeah.
okay, so do you and I think you answered my question without even like me asking it, but I was gonna ask you like, are you involved in like every, for lack of a better word, recital that y'all put on, or
Yeah. So
you're more so behind the scenes?
for sure. So I've been dancing for 21 years, and then been in every show that Unity has ever put on for the last 10 years. And when I broke my foot in April, I realized, and I was training for bodybuilding, I realized how like fatigued my body was. And I'll be 30 in September, so I'm very excited about that. But I just realized that like my body is just fatigued, and so I'm actually, this is my first year ever taking a year off of dance.
Oh wow,
And all that means is that I'll still be directing, and I'll still be like, I write all the shows, put on all the music, like bring all the music together, but I'm not going to be in them this year. And so that's going to be a kind of a massive shift because that's never been the case with Unity. I've always played a lead role in our shows. But I'm really excited to see some of the younger ones kind of rise to the occasion and kind of fill the holes that the veterans like left. But I will say this year, I'm hoping that will give me enough of a break so that when I come back in a year or two, that I feel like the energy and the vigor. Because so that's the thing about dance. Like, if it is like the language that your soul speaks, you can't get away from it. And I like
yeah,
know that about myself. But I also value that rest is like one of the most important things we could ever do. So I'm also trying to be a good example to my students that to rest does not mean that you're giving something up or that you're not being faithful to it, but that it actually means you're being faithful to yourself and you're being faithful to your body because, we get one of these, right? And we have to take care of it and we have to invest in it as much as it gives back to us. So that's what I'm doing this year and just kind of breathing a little bit. So, and it started with a trip to Europe. So,
nice. Yeah, no, that reminds me of like whenever I was very very consistent with working out with Nathan King, and because I was like kind of like in the bodybuilding world, if you will, for like I don't know, like maybe 5 years. Like I was like very dedicated to like working out, making sure I was eating correctly, and to sometimes I wouldn't even take a day off. And
hmm
I think whenever I got,
exactly.
I think whenever I was really getting into it very heavily, I was like maybe like 25, 26 years old, and when you're younger, you can do a lot more things than you can if you're, you know, I mean, I'm not old. I'm 31, but like I can definitely tell a difference now versus whenever like I was 20 or whatever.
Right,
So,
absolutely, exactly.
but
You don't even have an end when you're 20. Like, you can just go and go and go.
exactly. So, it just like you have to take a day off. So, because like I messed up my back extremely bad in oh, I think it was like 2018. I was doing deadlifts. I was actually at the grid house, and I was warming up, and then, and this is probably just on my part. It was my bad, but like my technique was probably not where it needed to be, and my lower back just gave out, and I eventually had bulging discs in my back,
Oh,
and
no.
that could have been a multitude of just like a lot of different things, like me just not taking, a lot of rest, or like trying to recover well by like, taking care of my body after I was working out. Cause like that was one thing I had a very hard time of doing, was like stretching a lot more after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't do that very well. But yeah, anyways, long story short, take care of your bodies, everybody. So
Absolutely. And
yeah.
and for all of you people that do sports that is not flexible, like flexibility is not a part of it, like that is the thing that will keep you healthy the rest of your life. Is like you won't fall when you're 60 or 70 years old and break a bone if you remain flexible. So if you're in your 30s or 40s, start now, because like I mean hamstrings, back, glutes, like all of that, um it needs to be stretched daily. It also helps with like back pain when you're sleeping at night. And so, like, I just cannot advocate enough how important it is to stay limber and stay flexible while you're also working out and like tightening everything up. So please do
Yeah.
that.
Do it. Y'all heard it here. So now on your website, I did some digging.
Ah,
I know. So your website, I think I had to write it down. I don't remember exactly what it said, but your vision stated that you wanted to give a clear and refreshing view of the gospel. You want to kind of expound on what that means?
okay, I would love to, because this year we've changed our vision statement. It happened like a month ago, or like not even a month ago. So we're
Okay.
updating our website this week. So I'm really glad you said something about that. So our vision statement right now is to present a subtle, thought provoking, and refreshing view of God through excellence in the arts. And we changed it for a few reasons. So number one, if you're from Cleveland at all, you know we have the most churches in this area. You know that like any corner you turn on, there's a church. Okay. So when I started Unity, it was more on a missional, evangelistic goal or trajectory. But over the years and after experiencing and exploring, traveling, and I realized that like where we need the most support as a community, whether it's Cleveland, Chattanooga, or just like for the people in general, is not a copy of a church. Like we don't need another church style organization from a dance studio. What we need is community. What we need are people and leaders that, have things inside of them that they need to pour into the next generation. And so I changed the words from just clear, refreshing view of the gospel to subtle, thought provoking, and refreshing view of God. Subtle because art is subtle. Now, if art, I feel like, turns into a sermon when it becomes like all over the top, over explaining, using too many words, trying to incorporate too much like verbal theology into what you're doing. Art should speak for itself. And I think that as a dancer, as a creative, as a writer, I have been leaning more into the subtleties of those things to like express a message versus just like being in your face about it. And I think what that's going to do is allow audiences, students, whoever we're reaching, the ability to think for themselves. And I think that is so important, especially in this area where we have so much information input, especially when it comes to religion and when it comes to God. Like there is like ample amount of information, but no one. I don't want to say no one because that's very general, but it is rare to find someone who will allow you to give you information and then to think for yourself. So to me, and the vision that Unity will be taking from now on, will be a place where people are allowed to ask hard questions. They will be able to think about what they actually feel, and they will have a safe environment where we can talk about God, but we're not going to have all these clear, perfect answers anymore. It's literally just a place where we can like create, talk about God, and honestly figure out where we are and what we believe, because everywhere else is doing the other thing. So long story short, Unity has always been such like a place of family, a beacon of hope. Even in my own life, the people there have been my family. But I really feel a pull to become more subtle and become real, like, and really lean into the artistic expression of that instead of being what all the churches are here. So I hope that makes sense. But that's kind of where the trajectory of Unity is going.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense, and that's awesome. I love that. So that's a very in depth answer. I love it. I was thinking about this, but are y'all? So are you strictly like? I know you say like the arts, like for
Yes.
dancing, but like, is it the style of dancing? Is it just more strictly ballet that y'all are teaching at your studio?
So no, actually, we teach like over 10 styles. So we teach ballet, modern, we teach tap, we teach jazz. We also have an extensive musical theater program. So we have, vocal training as well as the only thing we don't do is teach music. So that might be something we do in the future, but we also do theater and acting. So it's basically a one-stop shop for performing arts, except for the musical lessons. But yeah, we put on, I mean, we've put on, Aladdin, we've put on Greatest Showman, we've put on, of course, the shows I've written, The Veil, Dreamer, Fog. My newest is the adaptation of A Christmas Carol. We call it Scrooge. It's actually one of my favorites because it has live vocals, it has live music, like people are playing on stage while they're dancing, and of course, it has acting and dancing. So basically, it encompasses everything. It's like a Broadway. And that one we're actually doing at Lee University this year, which is crazy. We haven't performed at Lee since COVID. So we'll be back at Lee University. I think it's the third week of December, the December 15th through 18th, performing Scrooge. So
Nice,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like that. What get me in the Christmas spirit? It's Christmas in July, so
Hey, it's last day of July.
oh, is it? Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, it is. So, it's what?
Mhm.
That's funny. I was I don't remember where I was at. I think I was maybe working or I don't remember, but I remember passing by someone's house the other day and they were setting up for Halloween. And I was like, man, y'all are dedicated. Like also like so I'm in Dallas, Texas, and it is extremely hot here. And these people were outside decorating for Halloween, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? I mean, not I'm not hating whatsoever because I love Halloween, but I was like, man, like it is so hot to be doing that, and hopefully whatever y'all are decorating is
Yeah,
going to look
no,
amazing. So,
no go.
but yeah, so I my fiance is always like, man, you dance so well at our wedding. You're going to put me to shame, and I'm like, I can't really dance that well. So I mean, I can
Well,
kind of
if
do something, but I mean,
if you and your fiance get up here, so I do a lot of ballroom dancing, and I teach a lot of couples their first wedding dance. So you should come up and let me teach you.
So we're I was actually talking to her about shooting for December 2023, but if before we actually get married, I want to come back down to Cleveland because I have not been back. I haven't been back since I moved. It's been like almost a year. It's been like a year and a couple of months, but just want to come back, just kind of I don't know, hang out with some peeps and stuff like that. But if we do and we have enough time, I will put you on my schedule. No promises,
Let's do it. Let's
um,
do it.
but I like more of like hip hop dance. So y'all don't do any of that stuff, do you? Or
Oh,
did
heck
because
yeah. Heck
yeah?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I have a friend of mine, you may know who she is, but, I haven't talked to her in a while, Danielle Farrell. I don't know if that name
I
rings
do
a bell
know
or not.
her. She's a
Yeah,
great, great girl.
I know that's, like, one thing that she's really good at is, like, I guess, teaching hip hop dance or whatever, but, I took a whenever I hurt myself, uh, whenever that was, hurt my back, to just get my body moving because I couldn't really, like, lift weights like I wanted to, I, like, went to her for a couple of sessions to do, like, isolation dances kind of like like the whatever.
Yes. How'd
Yeah,
that
so
go?
um I realized that I am very terrible at it, but it was very fun. So I think I was only with her for like a month and then I just stopped because at the time I couldn't really afford it, but yeah, what she's got going on is super cool. I need to reconnect with her because I haven't talked to her in a while, so hopefully she's doing well.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone watching and listening. So, just a reminder, go ahead and let everyone know if they're interested in your services, where they can find you.
For sure. So we have, if you want any more information about like joining the company, like if you are a dancer and you would like to perform, you can go to unitydancetroupe.com. And we're doing auditions actually this week. So that's just how you get involved with the company side of things. If you just want to take class or be a part of our studio, you can go to unitydancestudios.com. And we have a location in Ottawa, Tennessee, as well as Cleveland, Tennessee. Actually, this week is all registration. And so we will be starting classes here very soon. And so, I mean, literally adults. I mean, our youngest is 3 years old and our oldest student is, I think, 68 or 71.
Nice.
So we serve a massive range of people. So if you've ever had a dream of dancing and you ever have been afraid of it, you don't have to be afraid of it at Unity. Some of the best teachers, the best staff, people that will love you and will call you higher, will push you, but will also understand where you're coming from and work with limitations. So if that's you, please come join us at Unity Dance Studios.
Cool. Y'all heard it here. Until next time. Peace.
See ya.